Hey, how's it going, everybody? Thanks for tuning in and watching today's video. My name's Jonathan. I'm the Bearded Burton, and it's been a while since I've seen you all. I've been busy with fun stuff, and look at these tracks, and filming content for the LT Wright Knives YouTube page. So if you want to go take a look, there's a bunch of good stuff up over there. And I've just been kind of taking a break from longer format, but the weather's gotten better and I'm just feeling it again. So I wanted to share this video with you all today. So I am out at one of my favorite spots. Been out here many years now. Haven't been out here in a while. It's been closed because of flooding, and it's me and one other vehicle out here today, and some of the airplanes. But what I wanted to do was, we're towards the end of summer. We still have temps high 80s, even 90s, but our 100-degree days are hopefully all gone. And I wanted to share what's in my pack for 2024 for like a lighter kit summer loadout. Cue the airplane. I wanted to share what I've been carrying this whole summer in my pack, go over a new pack that I have, just a bunch of new stuff. The last time I did a video like this, a lot of people liked it. I enjoy watching this kind of stuff, so I thought I'd share it with you. I realize I'm missing a couple of pieces of kit. I'll fill that in once we get set up at camp. I'm gonna beat feet and keep moving down this trail, get tucked back into the woods, a little bit more secluded, and get to my good old campsite, see what's been going on out there. So this place has kind of been closed down, and a lot of cool stuff so far. A lot of animal sign. Nature's kind of growing back over everything. It's pretty cool. Stay tuned. We'll get set up. All right, made it here to my camp area. Found a cool skull already. Gotta stay focused. I want to go over what I'm carrying in my pack these days. Like I said as I was walking in, we are still at the end of summer. Our temps here in Texas are now starting to be like in the mid 70s when I wake up, and at the peak of the heat of the day, we're still getting in the 90s. But I'm pretty sure the days of 100+ degrees are long gone, which I'm grateful for. So I wanted to go over what I'm carrying in my pack for day hike at minimum, but for sure an overnight, if not 2 days, depending on supplementing food. So before I get into all of this stuff, these are the parameters I'm operating underneath. I can tell you right off the rip, I left my sleep system at home because I'm not sleeping today. Not gonna stay out here. So that includes a War Bonnet Blackbird XLC hammock. Right now it's hammock camping time. And then at most snug pack jungle blanket for cover, but I usually just carry just a plain twin-sized sheet, bed sheet, that's one of those like athletic performance material sheets, so it breathes. Just something to cover me up. Like I said, it's just now getting to be in the 70s, so it's perfect hammock camping time. Throw in a little battery powered fan to circulate the air inside that hammock and you're good to go. So that's one thing that I left out that I would have with me if I knew I was staying the night, was my sleep system, which is just a hammock and a way to cover me up in the hammock. I have a tarp in here, so that's the three things that I would have with me. And then the other thing that I'm under a parameter day of is I didn't bring any of the food. I just brought a couple of little snack things with me. So I would throw in a freeze-dried meal, another thing of coffee, and maybe something for breakfast. But on the way in, I'd probably just snack bars or something quick, protein shake, and then set up camp. Maybe go try my luck at fishing or something and have some fresh meat or something that night. But for the most part, that's really the only thing that would be missing out of this pack. I want to say there's a potential third thing, which might be my folding saw. My little kitten was going crazy, so I can't remember if I threw it in here or not, but I'm pretty sure I did. But that's really it. Sleep system, food for the night or day, and that folding saw, which I think is in here. Other than that, everything else in here is what I would have with me. Part of this kit that isn't in it is my EDC. I complement what I'm gonna have on my person with what I have in my kit, so there's some redundancies there. And if all else fails, if something happens, I still have something on me that can help me, hopefully, in whatever situation I might be in. So I have my basics, my phone, my keys, my wallet. My wallet has a couple of goodies in it, like a Tinder card and a Grim Survival card with little tools on it. And I have my watch that's got a compass, and then also have the Garmin compass on it. And then around my neck, I have the Wazoo Viking whetstone, the Spark, and it has the ferro rod and the ceramic striker on the back and the whetstone. And then for a blade, I carry a folder. I don't wear a belt a lot. If I do, it's whenever it's colder and I've got extra layers and stuff. But during the summer, I'm running around short sandals, super lightweight, trying to go and get back and move. I don't have a bunch of stuff on me, so I rely on a folder. This is one that's fairly new, but I've been super happy with it. The whole thing's completely made in the USA. It's by Half Face Blades, and this is their disaster folder. The whole body of this folder is CNC aluminum, one piece cutout, and the blade steel is S45 VN. Really nice blade shape. This thing is a tank. It surprisingly doesn't weigh a ton. It's heavier than some of my other ones, but I know I can get work done with this. It's a push button, and it's just pretty plain Jane, but I really, really like it. I'm very confident in this. And then I also have a bandana, which I can use to wipe my face off with this humidity. And also, if I had to, I've got a lot of cordage in this too. So that's kind of my mindset before we dive into opening this thing up. I promise I'm not going to keep talking your ear off, but it has been at least a year, if not 2 years, maybe even 3 by now, that I've done a video on what's in my pack. Part of the reason that I haven't done a video like this in a while is because nothing really changed. I kind of just used and ran the same thing, maybe swap out a different knife or a couple of different tools, or update a new filter, Grail filter, or camp stove, any stuff like that. But like the majority of stuff didn't change. But within this last year, a lot of changes have happened for me. Different classes that I've taken, training, new things that I've been developing and working on as far as skill set and mindset. And so on top of that, I started making changes to gear. It's nothing insanely different than if you've watched anything I've done in the past, or if you follow me for any bit of time, but there's enough changes that it's worth sharing. So the first one being the pack itself. This is a new design, style, I guess I would say, pack for me compared to previous packs, and I've been just over the moon happy with it. For a long time, I carried more Bushcraft style packs and just straight up like open up a top flap and kind of a dump pack, and relying on a bunch of different pouches for storage, and just kind of throwing everything in it, and it not really being focused on function and comfort. And then you can kind of get into the more urban style packs that are more about, like, obviously they're discreet, but they are more about comfort, function, and organization and whatnot. And I've just always been in this battle of like, I spend a lot of time out in the woods. I spend a lot of time in nature. I get my stuff really dirty. I beat my stuff up. I don't care what it really looks like. And trying to have something that I'm going to carry every day, instead of just saying I'm going to carry it and leaving it inside or not bringing it with me. Not having the skill sets that I used to have as far as medical training or defense stuff, or even thinking about protecting me and my loved ones, and trying to find a pack that that isn't just bushcraft stuff, that it's just like that chameleon. It can go to any environment. And I still don't think that's the case, because there's still stuff about this that I'm not a fan of, but I've settled on it and I'm pretty happy with it. So this is a used pack that I bought from my buddy Alan at HCO Strops. And this is the Citadel by GWA, or Gear Whores Anonymous. And I freaking love it. And I'll show you why as we go through this, but the color is nice and subdued. It's still not as, you know, urban friendly or whatever you want to say, but in the long run, it's not camouflage and it's not big and bulky. There's not a bunch of side pouches hanging out. It's still kind of sleek and compact, but there's a lot of features in it that I really like. I still have the ability to put some morale patches on the front. I kind of like that, especially just something like my little logo patch here. It glows in the dark. If I am camping, I can literally look over and see where stuff is. I try to put glow tape or glow something on as much of my gear as possible, because there's a lot of low light activity when you're camping or hiking or teaching classes or you know, whatever it might be, going in and out of hotel rooms. I can literally look at my nightstand, and based on what's glowing, I know exactly where everything is without having to turn on the light. I don't know all the specs about it because it was used, and he gave me a really good deal on it. I'd seen this pack, but it was like version 3 or whatever it is on Instagram, and I really liked the look of it, and a couple of the pictures that I saw, the insides of it, it looked really good, but I could never find them. It seems like GWA just makes these in drops and they sell out really quick. And so I've seen some on eBay over the last couple of years that are really high priced, but it comes with the territory. But I believe this is their version 1. And what Alan was telling me is that their version 1 is the only one that has the grab handle built here onto the side. So as we go through all this, I'll go over some of the features and why I've switched to this. And in a separate video, which I promise I'm going to do it. I know I've kind of been MIA for a while, but in a separate video, I'm going to share with you my straight up urban EDC loadout. If I'm going to a family event or a friend's house or going to eat dinner, whatever it might be, it's the pack that I keep a certain amount of gear in, dedicated for an urban environment. If you know what I'm getting at, you understand. And it really doesn't change. So some of that stuff that is in there plugs and plays into this, and that'll go into why I'm super happy with this pack and the other one that I have that I'll do a separate video on. And they mesh together really well. My thought process on all this is like, I'm just super happy because the way my mind works and how I want my gear to be organized and how I want it to present itself in a pack, I've kind of found it with this one and the other one that I'll do a separate video on. So this is a GWA Citadel version 1. It's Ranger green, black zippers. It has the Velcro hook and loop on the front. This front kind of pocket here is a stretchy material, okay? It's a lighter weight. It's not the Cordura that's up here. It's the same with the bottle holder here. It's a stretchy material. It expands and it kind of breathes. So this is really cool for really sweaty bandanas or clothing, or if you go swimming or whatever, throw it in here and it'll get a little bit better airflow. So I'll just kind of piece this apart from the outside and we'll work our way in. So in this admin pocket, and I'll get close-ups of all this stuff for you as I'm talking, I have my knife. This is a Genesis from LT Wright Knives. It's in 3V and it's a pretty cool one. It's got blue jean denim micarta, white liners, copper pins. It's kind of like that all-American knife. Denim, white t-shirt, copper rivets on the back of your jeans. My orange ferro rod that's been with me forever is an LT Wright Knives ferro rod, and it's still going. It doesn't look pretty, but it's still going strong. As you can see, there's kind of little dividers in here if you wanted pins or any of that kind of stuff. I have this eating utensil kit from Brodegum Expedition Works. It's just a little mini titanium spoon and a spork. I have a spare water bladder. This is solely for clean water, so it's a lot easier to just pack this in and fill this up with clean water, and doesn't take up a lot of room. And then I can pair this with a filter and I'm good to go for all the water that I need. And then I have my pre-filter for my Grail with the lid for that cup in here. Okay, so this is just small enough that it won't fit with the extra thickness of this pre-filter. So this bag and all this, the whole water bottle and everything, will go down in here. I'll show all this here in a second. Moving to the side of the pack here, you've got a little pull tab here that if you needed to open this up a little bit to get your container out, you have these side straps that help kind of cinch everything down. The only thing that would make this perfect is if there was a second pocket like this on the other side, and if these were pass through with, you know, you could slide something in here, your tripod or a small axe or whatever, and cinch this down. I don't carry an axe, and my tripod I just carry my hand and extend it out in front of me for a snake stick, so don't really need that, but that could be a feature that would make this perfect. So this is the Grail titanium geopress. I've been using it now for a little while. I really like it, but I'm still my verdict's still out on it. The price versus the weight and whether it's worth it, but so far I'm really happy with it. And on hot days like this and this kind of weather, I'm going to carry the bigger one because I want to be able to process more water, and I can fill up that little bladder pouch and be good to go. There's a creek running right here beside me. Got a lot of airplane traffic today. I apologize, but like I said, on this side, you just got a row of Molly, just a 2-row here. Same kind of thing on this side. Little cinch strap buckle to keep everything nice and tight. And then you have this admin pocket that's up here. So up here I carry my Bible, multi-tool. This is the Leatherman Free P4, I think, or yeah, Free P4. And I have the bit driver kit in here, the old bit driver kit with a ferro rod on there. And I just modded I've modded this whole multi-tool. I can go over that if you guys are interested. Let me know in the comments below. But I just modded the Phillips head here to be able to adapt. You just knock the corners of it off, and you can put this bit extender on that. So that's like a little hack for you if you want to use the bit kit, but you don't like the other Leathermans. So I keep that up there. I tend to use my multi-tool a lot, reading the Bible. My lock picking kit, this is these are actually 3 items that I switch over to my EDC pack. There's a bunch of good stuff in here. I'll have to do a separate video on it. That's a lot of fun stuff. Wallet, keys, and that's it for that pocket. So not a lot going on in there, but stuff that I can get to fairly quickly without having to open up the main compartment. The back side of the pack, you have some padded shoulder straps. They're not overly built, but there's enough in there, and it's got that same lighter weight kind of wicking material that was on that front admin pocket on here. This webbing is kind of the thinner, cheaper webbing, or cheaper feeling webbing. It's not as thick, so it wants to kind of roll up and bind on you. There is a spot down here for a waist hip belt, but it didn't come with it. Like I said, I bought it used. I do wish there was a sternum strap on here, because this pack is big enough that you can put enough stuff in it to stay the night or the weekend in the woods. But it rods really well, and the padding on it's really, really nice. it stays up off your back enough that it doesn't feel super heavy, but it's just not the greatest when it comes to kind of the padding and the straps, and then this webbing material. Like it's more than comfortable. Like I just walked in a little over a mile to get back in here, and it was fine. And this was way overloaded with other gear I've taken out for other video stuff, but for what's in here now, for me to just use for a weekend or an overnight, it's perfect. So this pocket opens up, and this is kind of like your bladder pocket or laptop if you're wanting to do stuff in the city. So in here, I have a sit pad from Tough Possum, and the hack is just pull the foam out, open up the Velcro here, pull the foam out, score this so that it folds in half. So I'll go ahead and take that out, because here in a little bit, I'm gonna move to the ground. I have a spare piece of cloth. This is the multi-purpose cloth from Primitive Wilderness Survival, and it's a bamboo cloth, and I freaking love this thing. The value of loose material, loose clothing, or cloth like this is gold. It's worth its weight in gold. The things you can do with this, not only for carrying stuff, wrapping stuff up, firewood, wiping your face off, covering yourself up. If you treat this with permethrin, you can put it over your head or put it around your legs if you're wearing shorts. Bugs won't bite you. It's a way to cover yourself up. If you are a little chilly, use it as a scarf around your neck. First aid as a bandage or a sling. I mean, on and on and on and on. So I at least always have one of these, if not two, in my kit. And then back here, I also have my bigger blade. So this is my bigger kind of camp blade. And this whole thing is from Offensive Industries. It's got a really unique bead here, like a mushroom. It snaps over the cordage. The Kydex is fairly good even without it. But this is, I believe this is the Sven, but it's Nitro V. It's got his classic amber pins that when you hold it up to the light, you can see through them. And it's just a sick blade. It's kind of like the mix of machete, bolo. It's just big enough to get some trail clearing done and camp maintenance stuff. So been really happy with this. And it's lightweight. It's not as heavy as some of the other big chopping tools, but big fan of it. So that rod's in the back there. All right, now let's get into the main body of the pack and what's in it, and then also kind of the design of why I like it. So undo these compression straps on the side, and this is a big thing I like. This whole thing will clamshell all the way open. I really, really like that. So for right now, going over it, I'm going to show you what we have. This is my odds and ends kit, bits and bobs, whatever you want to call it. This is kind of like what rods usually in the bottom of my pack, and it's got multiple things in here. Headlamp, strop, little utility blade, work sharp guided field sharpener, spare cordage, permanent marker, some bear butter. It's like a bear tallow wood wax finish kind of thing. A little utility blade. This is the LT Wright Knives Patriot. And a lighter. A couple of awls. There's another awl in here somewhere. This is a FID. And then a repair kit that I've done a few videos on now from Coalcracker Bushcraft. This is basically their repair kit that I've added a bunch of stuff to. So I've had a few people ask me about this over the years, So I'm planning on doing a detailed video on what's in this. I've really got the itch to do videos again, and it's been a lot of fun creating stuff over on the LC Wright channel and just getting back into it. So this will be a little separate video I can do, but it's basically just kind of like a catch-all. Like all the random stuff that would normally be floating around in my pack, I just shove it in here. And that's kind of like my little disaster pouch, unorganized but organized bag there. One of the main features I like about this pack that works really well with the EDC pack that I was talking about earlier is the back of this pack has Velcro in it. So this is a Tough Possum first aid pouch, and if I need to, I can grab this, rip it away, and go. Stuff in here for stop the bleed, a second tourniquet, chest seals, all that fun stuff. If you have the training, I feel like you should carry this. If you don't have the training, there's no need for you to carry it, because you're not doing any good if you don't know how to use it. So if you have the training, carrying an extensive first aid kit with you could literally either save your life or somebody else's. And at least for me and my conscience, if I'm able to provide assistance and help save someone's life, that's my duty. And then to your left of it is my own personal. This is from Stoic Innovations, and this is basically his micro FAK is what he calls it. I did a shorts video on this on my channel if you want to go and look at it, but it's built around carrying a tourniquet, and you got shears, a Sharpie marker, and then the back of this opens up and pulls out, extends, and you can carry stop the bleed in there. So it's minimal, but these are two things that I will plug and play. I'll pull this out of this pack and plug this right into my EDC pack, because my EDC pack also has Velcro in it. All right, now that I've kind of gotten some of that out of the way, we'll take it down off the tree, and we'll get into the rest of the stuff that's in here. So like I said, this will completely clamshell open, which I really, really like that. The only problem, this is one of the other cons, this is really the only other con I have about this pack, is if you don't have, if this is hanging up like what it was, if you don't have these compression straps hooked together, and this pack is just barely opened up at the top, the weight of what's in front will slowly open this up, and those zippers will slowly pull down. If you're careful and you cock the zippers to the side, like instead of putting them both at the top meeting each other, if you cock them to the side, it won't do it. But that convenience of just like ripping open the pack at the top and getting into stuff is kind of lost, but it's worth dealing with because of the features that this has. So on this panel here, after it clamshells open, I have in this top admin pocket my snacks and a pair of backup nitrile gloves. Not really a lot going on in there. In this pocket, I've got some fun stuff and also some stuff that I'm not going to show, but I will tell you what's in there. I've got a Tough Possum belt pouch that has my slingshot ammo in here, clay ammo. I have my Simple Shot Scout LT 2, I think is what it's called, slingshot, and a couple of these model bands, these glow in the dark infinity bands. You can connect together, strap stuff down. They're super handy and really, really, I mean, kind of a no-brainer to have in your kit. They just use little studs and they stretch, and you can just snap them onto these studs like so. And essentially it's kind of like having a way to tie stuff down, or not ratchet straps, but you can pull this through and really tighten stuff down. I also have in here a firearm that is a Glock 17 and a spare magazine. So that's another thing that I plug and play with between this kit and my other one. Before anyone attacks me in the comments about not having my pistol on me, I dictate, depending on where I am, what I'm doing, whether or not I'm gonna conceal carry on my person or in my pack. It's just a preference of mine. Like I said, when it's 90 to 100 degrees and I'm wearing a t-shirt, sandals, and shorts and not having a belt on, I just use a little belt that are on my shorts here. Like all that stuff, that heavy stuff that's pulling your pants down, weighing you down, I don't use it. If I'm not going to carry it with me every day that way, then I'm not going to carry it. And what's the point of forcing myself if I know I'm not going to do it? Whereas at least if I have my pack with me, I know my firearm will be in it. Or when I do my other video going over my EDC pack, I've got a sling bag that I really enjoy carrying concealed in that sling bag. And it rides in the small of my back, or I can flip it around to the front and carry it that way. So I've learned over the years now that whatever works for you is what you need to go with. So you forcing your opinions, or you forcing what you think is best because it works for you on someone else, never translates. It's the same with knives. It's the same with skills. It's the same with this gear. If this pack is just not for you and you don't enjoy it, then I'm not going to force this on you. I'm merely just showing you kind of what I've done and the updates that I've made and the changes that I've made. So I know it's a really hot topic and whatnot, but I do carry a firearm with me, and I do know how to use it, and I practice with it and trained with it, and the way that I've done all that works for me, and that's how I roll. So I have a spare sit pad here from Pacific Northwest Bushcraft. This is really nice. It's wax canvas, a really cool pattern on it, but the wax canvas is heavy enough and heavy duty that it's a great sit pad, or to put your gear on, or to even use for sleeping stuff. So if I had my hammock and all that with me, I put this down on the ground under my hammock to have a place to take my shoes off, put my stuff on the ground. I can wrap it up and throw it in a little gear loft in the hammock. Again, here's the first aid and stuff. I have a spare container, a spare cup with a lid. This is just a titanium container with a little koozie that I made to go around it. This comes in really handy for cooking, coffee, and whatnot. So even though the Grail that I use has the titanium cup now that goes on the outside of it, having that to be able to pour and just use for dirty water collection and over the fire, and then having this to drink from or cook in, you know, containers are king. So this doesn't weigh anything, and it just makes sense to bring. Next up, I have, let's do this. This is just a cool little wood stove. It's a little overbuilt, but long time ago in a Facebook group, a buddy was making these, and they're just pretty cool. So you can't get them anymore, unfortunately, but he was a really good welder, and it just comes with a little flag pin here, and you just snap all this together and then put the flag pin in, and you got yourself a nice wood stove. This thing is super heavy duty, overbuilt. You could probably drive your truck over it, but haven't used it in a while, and I thought it would be fun to bring out today. So that wood stove, I like using wood stoves around here because there's tons of debris and tons of fuel, and I don't have to worry about running out of it, and it's self-contained, and I can put it in my little fire pit over there and not worry about burning the place down. And with the rain that we've had throughout this week, it's been crazy. I have coffee. This is just a little steep bag from Georgia Bushcraft, or Bushcraft coffee. I have some butt wipes. You know, hygiene is important if you're gonna be staying the night in the woods or spending any amount of time in it. I have a pair of gloves. These are from my welding days. Some Tillmans 140 or 1414s. My favorite leather gloves there is. And then this is my Basha shelter British Basha shelter. This was actually one that I bought from somebody that used it. It's a genuine milsurp, was used in the military by the gentleman, and haven't used it in forever. It's a little heavier than other tarps that I have, but it's really cool, and it's not something you see a lot, so I thought it would be fun to bring out and use today. So that's really it. Pretty lightweight, pretty minimal. Again, my hammock and a super thin little lightweight sheet would be fitting down here at the bottom. My hammock would just compress into this, and I could just stuff the sheet in there and we'd be good to go. Also forgot to mention, I have a hank of paracord with me as well. All right, that's everything that I would be carrying for hotter temps here in Texas 2024. Hope you enjoyed this video. If there's anything that you want to see more details of, let me know. It's super easy for me to create a short video, and I can tag you in it and repost it or share it, and you can see everything that we have. So remember, get outside, enjoy the woods. Thanks for watching.